call to meeting at 6:03. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. All right, we will start with the approval of the agenda from last month.
I do have two quick changes to the agenda. With Kayla not here, we don't have the minutes from the last meeting, and Nicole is not coming, so we won't have an update under number 5 for the senior activity. Yes.
Oh, that's what I meant, the minutes, sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can skip over number 3 and then 5B.
Okay. Well, I guess we can just jump right in. Baseball. Oh, I thought we were... Can I make a motion to approve the agenda?
Kathy first.
Yep. Second.
Second. I'll second. All in favor? Perfect. Okay, now, yeah.
All right. Baseball clinic.
All right, Bruce, you're up.
All right, so quick disclaimer. This is stuff that's worked for the teams I've coached over the years. There's a lot of stuff on the internet now. Back when we first started out, there wasn't, so we had a lot of guest speakers. We had one of the batting coaches for the Blue Jays come in. So I'm going to show you one of those tricks. I'm going to go over quickly. One of the things that we usually teach the kids right off the bat is the 3 rules, which for us were have fun. If you're not having fun, you make sure you tell a parent or a coach. Be safe. In a game, it's actually a little easier because there's 2 bats and 1 ball. There's the on-deck circle, and then there's the batter. But in practice, you can have 30 balls going around. So it's you got to really be paying attention on, especially when the kids are hitting a baseball. Up to 2nd grade, I don't think it's quite as dangerous, but you said mostly up to 2nd grade,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then the third is the word play, and then the sport we're going to be doing. So it's going to be play baseball. So if 2 kids are 2 bats and they're doing sword fighting, you just say to them, what are the rules? And they say, well, be safe. Is that being safe? No. And is that playing baseball? No. So they know. They're pretty good at it. And then the other thing is when you're doing drills, you want to make sure that the drill you're doing doesn't negate the drill that you just did. So for instance, we'll do throwing drills with the kids. And at this age, a lot of it is you reach back for the apple, pull it off the tree, make an L, okay? That foot is going in the direction you want to throw. So make the L and then throw. And you don't throw to a person, you throw through a person. Because if I throw to a person, it's just going to bounce a couple times before it gets to first base. You want to take the ball and you want to throw it through. So what you do, what we usually do is 3 or 4 groups of 3 or 4 kids. And then the way that works with 3 or 4 kids is you have the person that's doing it, and then you have the next person and getting ready to do it. And so they're going to be, then the 3rd person is watching and the 4th person is just finished, so he's on a 2-second break. Otherwise they start getting antsy. So if you could just keep them going in then the other thing you can do is get the same age groups and stuff to throw to each other, but that can get a little bit wild, especially if they don't know how to throw yet. So sometimes it's better for them to throw once to an adult, go to the end of the line, then the next one's already up with a ball. And a lot of times what we use is the buckets, because they can pick a ball up, throw it, the coach or parent catches the ball, puts it in the bucket, and you can either switch buckets or you can switch which way you're at, you know what I'm saying? One of the best drills we have for hitting, and it works for the younger kids, is to so we teach the kids that your back foot's in cement, And so what you do is you have them close their eyes and you put the pencils about 4 or 5 inches apart. And then when you clap, they have to step. And then when you clap again, they have to swing, okay? So when they first start, you can actually have 4 kids doing it if you have enough pencils. You go, and then the swing. And so if you have them close their eyes while they do that, and what that's doing is getting them to step into a swing, okay? And so that, meanwhile you're trying to work on turning the hips and stuff, but at this age, it might be a little bit on the difficult side. So again, just the step and then the swing. Step, swing. And you can work on that with them, and again, if we have 4 bats and enough, we can do 4 kids at once. And then the other one we like to do is take a bunch of different color balls. I don't know if you have any, but we can donate somewhere. But what you do is you just grab a couple out, trying to grab 2 different colors, and then you say blue, and then you say, you know, yellow, and then they have to hit the color that you're calling out. And if they can't do it at this age, sometimes we put 4 colors of tape on the metal fence, and then you just call out a color and they can hit that with a plastic bat.
Yeah.
But they actually can do pretty good with hitting the color ball that you call out. And again, you try to teach the kids confidence. So if they can get 1 out of 3, that's great.
Right.
Right? It doesn't have, I mean, this isn't the last game of the season.
No, and those are nice and flexible and soft, so they're a little
Yeah.
less intimidating if you get hit by one.
I mean,
Right.
we could donate a lot if you want.
I have a whole bag.
You have a whole pack, all right. And the way we usually do it is into the backstop. So you have your bucket, and you take out the 2 balls, you throw them, and the kid hits it into the backstop, and then that just usually bounces. You have to make sure that the kids are far enough away from the backstop that it doesn't hit them in the face, but
Right.
close enough that you can get a feel for that.
Yeah. I like the pencil one though, because that gives them the start out maybe with their eyes open so they can get the feel for it and see what they're supposed to be doing,
Right.
so they can
Yep.
and then feel it out from there. And then
Usually with the little kids, we tell them to put the glove out here, and then the coach can throw the ball into the glove, as opposed to, they like to have it here a lot of times, and then you always get the kid that wants to put the glove on the same hand he throws with, right? So you try and work on that. What you try and do on the ground ball is you're going to be bending your knees, keeping your back straight if possible. And you want to do a wall, not a ramp. A ramp on a wall is going to come back at you. So you want to do this, and then you want to do with the young kids, you want to do the alligator, which is, okay? And then again, when you're practicing with the kids with this, you want to make sure when they pop up, that again, they step, keep the elbow at a 90 or an L, and then throw. So you don't want them to unwind what you've already taught them. As far as the outfield, cutoffs and stuff, 2nd grade and under, probably not.
not
But
necessary.
the important thing to know, well, so first off, we do exercises with the kids. We have each kid pick an exercise, and they usually get it out of the schooling that they do. Like touch the sky, or hit your knees this year. Okay, and that gets them tired. We put a coach at first base, we have the kids run the bases. But when they get to first base, the coach can either say stop or go. So that shows them that if it's, if it's a hit to the outfield, they're going to be going. If it's not, so they learn to listen to the first base coach in that respect. So stop, okay, and then you got to make sure that the kid that's coming from home has enough space to do it. But then you just keep them going. Round 2nd to 3rd, and the third base coach, if you have one, can stop them or go. So. You have a pitcher machine? Not, I don't know at this age.
Do, but I've never used it.
Yeah. So I will caution that this age group, underhand is actually harder for them because it has an arc to it. And if you can actually throw, we usually throw from our knees at this age.
Yeah.
But if you can throw a straight ball, it's a lot easier, it's a little bit easier for them to hit than it is an arc. So make sure when the coaches are doing that. But what you do is you set up your 3 or 4 different, all the kids do the exercises, all the kids run the bases, and then you can break off into outfield, infield. I don't know if you want to teach the kids to pitch at this age, but basically a pitching is you stand behind the plate, you've seen the pitchers dig in, and then again, it's just a throw, so it's basically, but the other thing I would tell the parents when you're doing it is, if you see a Red Sox game on or something, watch a quarter of an inning or something, just a little bit, because then they'll be saying, hey, look, that guy stepped as he swung, or, oh, look, he made the L, or look, he stopped at first because the coach said, you know what I'm saying? Then they go, oh, the clinic was right, so.
The big wigs do this, it's important.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna get any wise tales at this age, but if you ever do, just ask them how many outs are in an inning, and that quiets them down. Because they usually say 3, right? But it's not, it's 6. So you can quiet the wise ones down. But how many outs in an inning? Oh, 3. Yeah, close. But usually that shows the other kids. Oh, and the other one is, if y'all want to stand up.
Oh boy.
I don't know how old, I don't know how it works with the kids, but you throw it, just toss it back, and then,
Oh gosh, I've not coordinated enough for this.
so, the big trick is, it looks like the balls are always going, but they're really not. It's only, you don't throw this one until this one's in the air. So it would be like,
Sorry. And that's crazy.
but you'd be surprised, you just keep going with that.
Yeah, the hand-eye coordination, that'd be fantastic.
And that's good, and then,
Clear that
if you want, you guys can sit,
too.
but if you want, you can then start with grounders with the
Yep.
glove, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
then, but the kids like it,
Oh yeah,
so.
that one would be a lot of fun.
Those are things that we can do. Is it gonna be outside,
It will at the rec field, yeah.
and you don't have a date, or,
Waiting to pick the date as of right
Yeah.
now because we need to coordinate with the other coaches.
and you're looking at about an hour?
Probably, hour 15, hour and 20 maybe.
Yeah.
Figure 15
Yeah,
minutes or so
at
for
that
a warm
age,
up. And
at that age.
that's about all they're good for. Their attention
I
span.
don't know how the teachers do it, but,
I know.
Constantly changing activities.
Yes.
well, I know, but I mean, we've coached soccer and baseball, and it's not, I don't know
Especially
how
at
the
the end of
teachers
the-
can do it.
At the end of a school day too, they're just
In
gonna be,
a classroom, God bless them,
right.
but,
So any recommendations, I'm just thinking, one of the most common things we see for the littles is running the bases the wrong direction
Yep.
or not knowing when to run.
yep, so that's why you have the visual followed by the actual, followed by the break, followed by the watch, you know? And so you tell the kids where first, second, third are, and you just work on the coaches sending them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the home plate parent or coach has got to watch the first base. If first base stops them, then you don't send your kid quite yet. But by the time you're going to have at least 3 or 4 kids on the bases, and, you know, 3 or 4 kids waiting in line if you do it right. And so that's not too bad. The other thing, it's not quite at this age, but if you get into the coach and the older kids, everybody should be moving on every play except for maybe if it's a ball hit to right field, the left fielder, and if it's a ball hit to left field, maybe the right fielder. But you should be backing up. Not only, so if a ball's hit to right field, the center fielder should be backing up the right field. If it's hit to center field, one of the, either side it is, the right field, left. Then you're going to have your cutoff man being down there. Then the second baseman's going to be telling the cutoff man left or right, whichever way you want to go to have it come in. And then your third base, you're going to be backing up, depending on where the throw's going. The pitcher should be backing up the catcher because that's where it's going to eventually come in. Maybe first base isn't doing anything, but there's no reason they can't go down the line either. So, but by doing that, it keeps the kids focused on the game. But, because otherwise they are picking
Picking
flowers
daisies,
out in the field, but if you have a parent in the field, and again, second grade's not quite it, but hopefully if we get up to the next level,
Yeah,
in a couple of years, third and fourth grade, is when they really start to
right,
take that stuff and, I mean, sometimes the dugouts can be boring,
yeah,
but if you have a parent in there and you can do the ball game in there with
Yeah.
them, you know what I mean?
something to keep them busy.
Just to keep them busy,
Yeah,
but, that should probably fill an hour.
yeah. Are there anything else? So I'm thinking too, just to kind of keep them really engaged, because we've all talked about pre-Ks especially, their attention span's pretty slim. If we were to rotate other activities into it, do you have any other sort of things in your back pocket that you would recommend for the littles?
No, I was actually hoping we were going a little bit higher in the grades, but.
I know. I'm surprised that we had the turnout that we did, which is great. It's perfect for what we're gonna do.
So again, we'll have the T, right?
Yep,
So the T will be another one, and again, that goes into the backstop if you can.
yep. Perfect. I think it's gonna be great. I really appreciate all the ideas, and
Yeah.
I think the kids are really.
Like I said,
gonna enjoy it.
there's tons of stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
I'll start looking for some of the younger kids' stuff.
Anything to make it fun for
Yep.
them, right?
Right.
Keep them moving,
Yep.
which is it's not always the easiest in baseball, especially at that age. But I think these activities are gonna be great.
Yeah, I think these are gonna be super useful. They're
Yeah.
gonna keep them busy and they're gonna have fun.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to come back one more time at the field with our coaches?
Yeah, sure.
It would be next
It
week.
might be beneficial if the coaches would show up 15 minutes early,
Yep.
and we could just do this again or something,
Yeah,
and then work through it. Maybe we can find another drill or two from the internet or something.
I will have them watch this meeting so they can see
Yeah.
and hear everything that we talked about ahead of time too. And that way we can just have a quick conversation, quick demonstration, and
Yep.
we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Awesome.
I mean, we've used a pitcher machine for outfield throws before. I don't think you
Yeah.
have to with this age group, but,
I'll have to see what the speeds are and stuff on it. I don't know.
it's the best machine for when a kid gets hit, because they know that they're not, that if a pitcher hits a kid, they know at least the pitcher machine's not. Pitcher machine's pretty consistent at putting
Yeah.
it in,
Right.
so
A little easier for them to
gets them
adjust.
back in the,
Yeah.
in the batter's box. I mean, there's other stuff too, but it just, you know, you want to touch the middle of the plate so as you bring your bat up, it covers the whole plate, that type of thing.
That's good to know too.
Yeah, that is.
Proper positioning.
Yeah. The other thing that we always, again, not quite with this group, but our philosophy was up until sixth grade, you don't want to walk. So you're up there swinging, because confidence in hitting is the tough part. And if you get up there hoping for a ball, you're going to be watching strikes go by. But if you're mentally saying to yourself, I'm going to hit this ball, you've already got a quarter second on it, and there's a much better chance you're going to hit it. So up until sixth grade, even seventh and eighth, we were telling the kids,
Just go
you
for it.
don't walk. You know, I mean, if the ball bounces in front of you four times, you don't have a choice. But
Right.
the majority of the time, get up there thinking you're going to hit it, and they would.
Yeah.
They come around on it. Do you have smaller bats or plastic bats or?
I think we do have a handful of wiffle ball bats, and I know we do have age-appropriate aluminum bats
Yeah.
for all the kids. and
I
all
mean,
the
you could
different
use those
sizes.
balls with aluminum bats, but sometimes with the little kids, it's a little heavier. And they're
Yeah.
a little slower with them.
These, I think we'll be okay with the ones that we have. They're pretty light.
Yeah,
I don't think
okay.
we've had any
Yep.
issues, but I know I'm sure between the group of us, we can.
And if they can't hit one of the colors, then just throw one ball.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
Build that confidence.
yeah, build the confidence up, and then, you know, and you can still say orange while you throw an orange ball.
Yeah.
And then but the kids come around pretty quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's one of those things I wish we could record
Yeah,
the first practice and the last one and see how it changes. I know just watching my kids in the past.
yeah,
And
they
the
also
differences
form as a
in-
team too, if you do it right, you know, if you push the whole team part.
Yeah.
Some of these kids, well, anyway.
This is great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so you just let me know when you have that.
I'll let you know. I'm gonna. I'll talk to one of them tonight, and then the other I'll talk to probably tomorrow, and we'll pick a day and be in touch.
Yep, sounds good.
Are there any that work better for you than others? Next week in particular?
You do it at night
It would be after work, yeah.
or on a weekend after? No, doesn't matter to me.
Okay. I will keep you posted then. Did you guys have any thoughts or questions for Bruce?
No.
Like I said, this isn't the end all, there's more drills that you can
Oh, yeah.
incorporate.
This is such a fantastic start.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
just,
really set us up for success. I think.
Thank you so much for coming in.
yeah,
We really
Yeah, I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it. Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think with those activities, they're gonna be really good
Yeah.
and have fun.
Yeah, especially the ages, to keep them busy,
Yeah.
keep them moving, rotating.
Yeah.
That's how we usually did our practices before, but I think having these specific designated stations and the diverse ages between pre-K and second
Right. Yeah.
will be good because they'll learn off of each other too,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Mhm.
Awesome.
you know if all the kids have gloves and stuff?
We have some spares that we can donate to anyone that needs them, but they will be asked to have gloves, yeah.
Alright,
Thanks, Bruce.
Alright, does anybody have anything else to add to that? No? So, open items from last meeting, coach and parent information. Kathy, did you have anything on that?
A little bit. My son didn't want to do baseball, which I don't know, I was kind of sad about, but it is what it is. And I was just thinking, when I was the assistant coach for basketball, I'm trying to think like when we do the parent night, we should be exact about the expectations.
Like some of the parents were like, "Are we doing games?" And if we're not, we'll just like say that we're not doing games. We decided the clinicals. Just be exact about that because we had some parents that are like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
And the app, I just like the app a lot. Some of the parents had questions like,
Well, we go on the app and it tells like, if it's canceled or picture night. I just really think the app is. We should talk about it more.
Yeah,
and
just
push
making
it.
sure that people get the app and
Yeah.
that they're looking at it
Mhm.
often.
That was feedback that I had heard as well. And on the registration forms, it does say to watch out on our Facebook page for any changes in schedules and stuff like that. So there might be an opportunity to make that a little bit more pronounced
Yeah.
through a parent night and just saying Facebook and the Game Changer app are our primary means for communication. You need to be watching that for any updates and things like that. Anything from a coach perspective, from your first time coaching? Things that you would have liked to know ahead of time?
No, I thought it was pretty smooth. It was good. I would do it again. I'm not very athletic, but I feel like you just have the kids just always be moving. Like if the kids were getting too excited, we're like, okay, run around a little bit or get some water.
Yeah.
Those are good little breakups that
Mhm.
get kids kind of refocused, and I would definitely do it again. And I get a pre-K next year, so we'll see what she does.
Okay. So it's sort of like a best practices sort of thing is what I'm getting from that. Is, when you need to have them refocus especially at that age group, because you were first and second, right?
Yes.
Would be to, try these different kind of activities or these different things to reset.
Mhm.
So we can do more with something like that. We can do like a best practices guide just in general for things like that for all sports,
Mhm.
not just basketball or baseball or whatnot.
Mhm.
Is that something that one of you might want to take a stab at and just bring some bullet points to the next meeting that we might be able to use going forward? I mean, I can too, I've coached before, but I'm trying to delegate.
Coach.
I had it.
Really?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Gotta do a background check.
No, I don't.
For here you do.
I already done a
Oh,
background check.
then you're fine.
What do you mean?
Do you want to put together just kind of some best practice things or take a stab at it? Just things that you might want to know as the first time coach?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm serious, so,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Yeah, let me try
Okay. You're up then.
Alrighty.
Anything else from that we wanted to, Tim, any?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Are we, okay, moving on to, are we skipping over, because she's not here?
Yeah,
Senior
we're,
ideas?
yep, the senior ideas, because she unfortunately has a sick kiddo.
Yes. Alright, open floor.
Anything else you
Anything
want
else?
to talk about? Might be our fastest meeting ever.
I know. You ready?
Anything, Tim, from your perspective, because I know you've helped us with baseball and soccer and stuff in the past, is there anything that you have seen that looks like a best practice, or things that you kind of looked at and went, oh, we probably could have done that different next time?
Honestly, some of the stuff that Bruce was talking about, particularly the small groups,
Mhm.
multiple groups, I think that doing the clinics, already you've got more coaches lined up than we had last year.
Yes.
Last year was
Oh,
year
yeah.
Army.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's it. And parents certainly pitched in, and that's great, but, I think probably particularly the younger kids, the more parental involvement we have, to be able to split them up, to keep that focus.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of lost focus.
Yes.
Mm.
Baseball's a tough one for
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
It's helpful though. I think I'd love to have more people volunteer. I think we've got a great network, especially like if you guys are jumping on board too, then I think we'll have a great group, and I'm sure more parents are going to want to step in and help, especially at the littles, because it's just so fun to help at that age.
Yep.
So they just need to get a background check and call it good and come out and help. So we can start doing some Facebook posts and things like that.
Yeah.
Switching gears just slightly, I wanted to give you guys an update on behalf of Nicole. I didn't put it on here. Competition Cheer had to cancel a couple of their competitions due to illness and missed practice times and weather, and it was not a great season for that. But they worked really, really hard, so they are doing sort of an exhibition to showcase all of their work on Friday night at the school, open to the public. I think it's from 6 to 8. So they will be at the gym doing all of their stunts and routines
That'll be
and
fun.
everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of that alternative. They still get to show everyone in town, like, hey, look at all this hard work. I think it's a great opportunity for people to also see what it's about that
Yeah,
haven't
and
seen
then
it,
maybe do it next year.
and do it next year, so we can continue to build and grow that program. So I'm gonna post that. She's really excited for it. I can't wait to go to see everything, because I've only seen little nuggets of their practices.
I would like to see it.
So I will be there Friday night to check it all out and report back to everybody how amazing it all worked. Because it's Nicole, it's gonna be wonderful. But that's that. Anything else we wanted to chat about? Things for the summer after baseball or anything like that?
Are we doing like soccer for the summer? Is that like a summer?
We haven't done summer soccer before. Normally it's a spring thing. Some of the other towns. Something that we talked about in the last meeting is switching up our program for the spring to include spring soccer or other sort of clinics for the other sports that Acton and Sanford offer, like field hockey and lacrosse, volleyball maybe, if we can get access, so stuff like that. So that'll be something for next year that we talk about and start planning early. But we will have to start planning for fall soccer real soon.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, because that's gonna be a big one, and with this being our first group's kind of soccer season together, I'm gonna be looking for lots of help.
Yeah, I feel like
Coordinating.
the soccer season is always farther easier.
It's
than,
bigger.
yeah.
There's a lot more kids than
Yeah.
basketball or the other sports. There's a lot more teams, a lot more coaches, a lot more games,
Yeah.
a lot more towns involved. So it takes a lot of effort. John and Hope, I don't know how they managed it on such short notice, but they did it flawlessly. And I have some really big shoes to fill. We have big shoes to fill, but we can do it. It'll be good. But yeah, thinking of, I want to get through, the first year and making sure that we've got things running smoothly, and then start slowly building in. So I know the last meeting we talked about potentially doing some summer senior activities for the folks in town. So hopefully Nicole's got something for us there. looking for like low cost, no cost things that, you know, we can get buy-in from the board, where it's not strictly budgeted for, at this point. But think little things like that, see if we can get stuff moving. So if you see any ideas of the other towns that are doing things, I know, Sanford does, cribbage, weekly cribbage, and Wakefield has something similar to that, and
That's
just
cool. Yeah.
random little things like that. You just kind of make a mental note of and bring it back and see what we can do here.
Yeah.
And build our program a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right.
Anything else? We're good? Alright, call meeting to end at 6:34.